Joe Leigh here for SecondsOut. Delighted to be joined by IBO World Super Welterweight Champion Sam Eggington. How you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
See you again. Since we last spoke, obviously, World Champion now, IBO Super Welterweight, as I say. How does that feel? How does that sound?
It sounds great. People keep asking me how did it feel, and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. I mean, I'm a world champion, and that's great, but yeah, nothing's changed. Same old gym, same trainers, same struggles. So, I mean, it sounds great, and I'm over the moon to win it, but nothing's changed just yet.
Do you have like an overall goal, a lasting kind of legacy that you want to leave?
I don't. I mean, I think if anyone's ever watched any of my interviews, anything I've ever said, the goal is always just to be stable, so my kids can grow up and be happy, and not want for nothing. And that's the plan, and that's still the plan. You know, when I started out, I wanted to be a journeyman for that reason exactly. So only because the paychecks got bigger. You know, the plan is still the same thing. You know, make as much money as possible.
How close are you to being content with what you've done in boxing and how your life after boxing can go, if that makes sense, in terms of what you can do for your family?
I mean, for the boxing thing, I mean, I was content at Eggington's title because I never asked to win that or even fight for that. So the boxing is just an absolute bonus. All the boxing accolades have been unbelievable. As for the family and stuff, we're okay, and the kids will be okay. Don't get me wrong, but you can never have too much, I suppose.
Bigger dreams. Domestically at super welterweight, obviously there's not too much right now. We've got Liam Smith. He's going to be looking. He was looking at Chris Eubank Jr., but he's just come off a fight with Jessie Vargas. Would you welcome a fight maybe with Jessie Vargas or something like that?
I'd love to go to America. Yeah, I'd love to fight. Any of the US guys would be an unbelievable. Unbelievable. To be fair, I mean, it's always been an aim. Since we started winning titles. I've always said to someone, like the trainers, let's get to the USA. Do you know what I mean? Have a big one over there. But it ain't come up just yet. But hopefully, I'll get this, the mandatory out of the way, and something will pop up.
What do you think to a fight with Jessie Vargas?
I don't know. I mean, again, if you've watched any of my interviews, I'm not a huge boxing fan. I ain't watched him too deep. I know he's good. I know he's I think he's a multi-weight world champion. And I think he's won world titles at 2 weights. So I know he's good. I know he knows his way around the ring. So, but it's definitely something that I'd take and enjoy the challenge of.
Yeah, definitely. He's coming off a couple of losses, but he's got that knowledge, experience. He's been at the top level as well. So I think for you, this is like a perfect fight, considering you've got a belt as well. So he could potentially want that.
Exactly. But again, any of the ex-world title holders from the US, I'm proven. I'm happy to travel. I went to Italy to fight. Won a battle over there. My mandatory's at the other side of the world. So. If the phone rings and the deal's, right, I don't mind getting on the plane.
With what you said at the start in terms of, the main thing is money, being able to provide for your family, are you still up for those domestic fights for like a JJ Metcalf, for example, or is it USA, bigger names now? I
think, it'd have to be real good though to get me in for a domestic battle, unless, one of them had a world title as well. But yeah, I think unless the money's unbelievable, which I can't see it happening, yeah, it's not something that I'm looking for at all.
Do you think because you kind of don't care about the let's say, for example, you don't care as much about the titles as most people, do you feel like that relieves pressure and that's why you've got to where you've got to, because it's never been a sole focus?
I've always said this. I mean, because you got kids that come into boxing and they're into it from young. And they proper want to be the best, and I get that. People want to be the best they can be, but that comes with pressure. And I genuinely feel like, I don't know how old I think it was a few years ago now, so I must have been about 22, 23, and I fought Mananaji on a pay-per-view at the O2, Chief Sport, for someone that really loves boxing and wants to be the best, that could fold them. But for me, it was literally a day at work. I'd had a fight. 15 minutes later, I was on the motorway going home. It was that simple. Work was done. It was home time. So it's good and it's bad in both ways. I mean, you can really get laxy and daisy because it's not everything, but you can also relieve a lot of pressure by doing that.
Yeah, definitely. So when you're like not main event, are you gone by the time the actual main fight started? You're already back home on the way to see the kids?
100%. 100% every time. When I'm main event, I'm out as soon as possible. It's just, yeah, I mean, I love the boxing. I'm not huge on, after parties or anything like that. I don't do none of that. I just go home. I like my own space. I like to be in my own house. It's just that simple.
Yeah, fair play. It's different to a lot of people, but obviously it's still got you to a solid level and onwards and upwards. Obviously, I just want to speak about Shaqs' fight before we go. He's got a good fight against Dan Aziz on a Sky show coming up in Liverpool. Obviously, Shaqs down here at the moment at Eastside Boxing Gym in Birmingham. What do you think of that fight? It's obviously exciting and a really good fight at a good time for Shaq.
I think it's a good fight. I think I don't want to badmouth Dan Aziz at all. I think he's a good fighter, but I do think Shaq's got all the tools. You only have to look at the shape of him and the size of him, and I just think he has everything to win this fight. And I know, mentally, he wants that back. Do you know what I mean? So I think if he gives everything like he normally does, I think he comes away with a good win, and he's two-time British champion.
Cat's out the bag with your fight. What more can you say?
I don't know what I can say. It's all over the internet, so I don't think I have to hold anything back. I'm fighting Hogan. They won the purse bids. I've got a 2-week trip to Australia. I get paid, and I get to do some work. It's a win-win for me. Like I say, I don't mind travelling at all. I don't need big audiences. Could be anywhere in the world. I do it in my back garden as long as I'm paid.
Going over to Australia, do you think there's anything other than the time difference? Is anything going to be a problem with that?
More than anything, like I say, I like to be in my own house. I don't like the thought of being there for 2 weeks. Other than that, the fighting, the training, the prep, it's just water off a duck's back. It's so normal now that it's unbelievable. It's unreal. So apart from being away from the kids, the house, my other half, I'm not really bothered. And when I get back, I've got the rest of the year off. So I'm looking forward to getting back. Don't get me wrong, but I've got to get there and do some work first.
You fully expect to get the win comfortably?
Without doubt, 100%. I'm not going to say too much about him or badmouth him. I don't think he's badmouthed me at any point. So yeah, but I do expect to get there and do a job. And come home happy.
Alright, bro. Thanks for your time. It's a good little insight. How many weeks to go now for yourself? 8?
8 weeks, yeah. 8 weeks, and I'll be there 2 weeks before, so 6 weeks, and I'm getting a flight.
Alright, man, best of luck from Birmingham, man. We hope, or Stourbridge, obviously, we hope it comes back to Birmingham, that world title, and have some big fights in the future, hopefully USA.
Yeah, man, fingers crossed.